Okay, how about this? A worldwide network of contacts. A contact network of entrepreneurs with the same concerns, with the freedom you need, with the freedom to design your own life and validate your business idea. For it to be more than an idea, not enough? Well, how about creating the financial independence you want with the help of fellow entrepreneurs? Improve the lives of other people with your project. And if you have a passion, make it your way of life and share it with others. Work how, when, and where you want. Share your ideas. And if you have to stop, stop. But only to take a bigger step forward. Is that clear? To build a contact network, to validate your business idea, to be part of change, to go further, connect with your future, create your business. You explore your future.
Yo creo que en estos 4 días he progresado más como profesional que básicamente toda mi vida.
Pude conhecer outras línguas, outras culturas, outras pessoas, fazer amizades, conexões em que a gente vai levar para a vida toda.
La trayectoria ideal de un emprendedor dentro de Santander Universidades y de Santander X en particular comienza con Santander Explorers.
Todo el tiempo recibes nuevas ideas, nueva información que va a ayudar muchísimo en mi proyecto.
A viagem é incrível no sentido de você conhecer pessoas novas. Eu acho que o conhecimento de pessoas novas, do que outros empreendedores estão fazendo, é inspirador.
Me llevo mucha motivación, conocimiento, que es súper importante. Me llevo experiencia de estar con chicos de otros países.
Creo que con Explorer puede haber un cambio radical de tu vida.
Okay, how about this? A worldwide network of contacts. A contact network of entrepreneurs with the same concerns, with the freedom you need, with the freedom to design your own life and validate your business idea. For it to be more than an idea, not enough? Well, how about creating the financial independence you want with the help of fellow entrepreneurs? Improve the lives of other people with your project. And if you have a passion, make it your way of life and share it with others. Work how, when, and where you want. Share your ideas. And if you have to stop, stop. But only to take a bigger step forward. Is that clear? To build a contact network, to validate your business idea, to be part of change, to go further, connect with your future, create your business. You explore your future.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good night to everyone from different countries. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Andrea Sanchez, and I'm responsible for some of the global entrepreneurship programs at Santander Universidades. And today we have a very special talk because we are bringing today one of our amazing guests who's part from the Santander ecosystem, from one of our amazing communities, Santander X 100, Mateo Salvatto. Hi, Mateo, how are you?
Hi, Andre. How are you? Thank you
Doing
for having me.
good.
Really happy to be here.
Same. It's always a pleasure. You know, we are very close because we work together in the Santander X 100 community, and it's amazing to have you here. So
Same here.
Before asking you a few questions, I want to say a few words about you, so that everybody knows who you are. But for everybody connected here, Mateo Salvatto is a 23-year-old entrepreneur. He's full of optimism and he's always wishing to change the world. And of course, he has a big love for his country, Argentina. Actually, probably he loves football, and he must be very happy because yesterday they won and they passed to the next phase in the World Cup. He's the founder of Hablalo, which is the app that helps more than 300,000 disabled people worldwide for free. And in 2021, he published his first book, La Batalla del Futuro. Amazing things that you are doing, Mateo.
Thank you. Quite a lot. I have no idea how I get enough time to do all those, but I don't have lots of time to sleep, truly.
Yeah. No, and actually, Mateo is not the first time that's participating in any of the Explorer activities that we're doing. He was also part of the activities in the Explorer trip, which we really had fun, right? That time.
That was great.
Actually, it brings me to remind you that Mateo will speak a little bit more about what he's doing. We will ask him a few questions about how he became entrepreneur, what are the different obstacles that he's been facing. But if you also want to be like Mateo and you want to create your own lifestyle, and you have to try entrepreneurship and you can positively impact the world. So if you want to do that, definitely your program is Explorer, and we have right now a call open until December 13th. Through this program, it will help you to connect with your future, and it will try to give you a hand to become a professional entrepreneur. And also it will help you to get some financial independence. So the program will start on January 30th, and during 12 weeks, you will work on your idea. You will turn it into a solution that contributes toward achieving the 2030 SDGs. So you can participate individually, or if you have a team, you can also participate with your team. And the best of all is that you have no cost because Santander University is the one that finances this program. And also you can have the chance to travel to the Explorer trip. Last year we went to Oporto. Next year we are going to Valencia. So this is your last chance to be part of this amazing program whose call ends in December 13th. And for those who are from Explorer, just letting you know that, of course, Santander X is a bigger ecosystem. Explorer is not the end. There's many other programs that we are having, and we invite you to definitely try the Santander X program, Prepare to Launch, that we will be launching in 2023, and you'll have the opportunity to keep growing your project and launch it into market. So with that said, I would like to officially welcome Mateo to this amazing talk that we will be having. And I will start with a first question, which I'm very curious to know. So what's the most significant turning point in your career so far?
Okay, that is a difficult question.
It's a tough one, right, to start with.
Right. Okay. I think I have a few, right? But if I had to choose only one, well, Well, I think the biggest one in my life is actually when I was a high school student, right? I was into electronics, robotics, and all those stuff. Um, I always participated in robotics competitions, right? And I always thought that people who actually achieved great things in this discipline, in these competitions, were, of course, the ones in the United States with money, with funding, with great robots, and with all their stuff with the United States universities and everything. Um, Not us that were like 17-year-olds that were like building robots in Latin America, right? But like, why am I telling you this? Because one of my biggest inflection points, like emotionally, sort of, was when with a friend we were able to become the first international robotics champions of Argentina in Israel. Like, we won the first worldwide championship for our country, and of course we were so happy. But at that moment, I actually realized, like, my head clicked, and I actually understood that with the technology we were learning in high school in Latin America, we were able to do actually great stuff, like really different stuff, and actually impact the world, right? And that's why I decided to build a project that later became Hablalo, that later became a company. And that brings me to the other inflection point, like in my career, like my professional career, that is more like literal. That is when I co-founded my company. Because when I started the project, as everyone else, when you start your project on your own, you are like a little bit over protective. Is that a word? Overprotective? It's like, really, you don't want to share your project with anyone. But after a year of keeping the project to myself, I understood that opening it up to other people, to a group, to partners, to investors, to people that would actually be interested in helping, actually was the best idea. And when I co-founded that company, it's when Hablalo actually started growing exponentially. Before that, it was like, it was growing, but at a slow pace. I think that was like the biggest inflection point, actually, when I understood that I needed a team and I need to share my thoughts, my ideas, my projections with other people and make them partners, and make them own the project with me.
No, it's amazing. We know Hablalo. We know each other very well. Actually, I think that was my next question, right? I would like you to tell us how you're such a young person, and how did you come up with the idea of building Hablalo? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Right. So it's a family story, actually, because as I was saying, I was always into technology. I always loved technology. I always interacted with it in many ways. I studied electronics. I studied software development. But in parallel, I grew up surrounded by disabled people, because my mom is and has been for the past 40 years a teacher for deaf kids, right? So I grew up surrounded by kids my age that couldn't do things that for me, for you, and statistically speaking, for most people here in the stream, are absolutely basic and doable, right? I don't know, asking for a direction on the street, or going to a doctor, or I don't know, to a drugstore, buying medication, etc. Like, really easy stuff. They just couldn't do it. And I was into technology, so I always thought, how do we have enough technology to put a rover on Mars, right? That takes pictures and sends them in real time to Earth, but a deaf person cannot go and report a crime, right? It's incredible. And of course, being a Latin American, my first thought was that this was a local problem, because we do tend to think that. But this is actually a global problem. People, like deaf people and people with disabilities all around the world, they struggle all the time with different difficulties, right? So I just decided to code something that would help my few deaf friends and my mom's students communicate with their surroundings. And that was it. That was the whole idea, just to help a few people. And it grew.
Well,
kind of
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, I mean, from an idea, it became such a serious project, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, and you, we were discussing, right? You come from an idea based on a problem that you've been feeling for quite a long time, and you build a solution on it. You build a company. You now have a very grown-up company. But when it was the first, let's talk about the beginning, right? What were some of the obstacles you had to face at the beginning? Because at the end of the day, we are talking here to explorers, which are people who are in this process of validating the idea or the solution they want to propose to solve a specific problem. So I think it would be very interesting to understand what were the main obstacles that you were facing when building Hablalo.
Sure. Well, many. There were lots of obstacles during the way. If I had to name a few main ones, well, first I started very young. Well, I still am, but I started 17, so no one trusted anything I wanted to do. Hablalo never received actually any investment, so we did all this without any money. Because I went to funds and stuff, and they just wouldn't trust that an 18-year-old would do this, and that the model was going to work. So I struggled quite a lot with that at the beginning. I was, as related to what I was saying before, I really was convinced that I had to take good care of my idea, not share it a lot, and just keep it to myself. So I did those. I think you can divide obstacles or struggles in your personal mental ones that are a lot when you start building a company or a project, and then the actual ones, like the economical ones, the finance ones, etc. So for example, of course, having no money was a huge struggle along the way. Luckily, we don't have that problem now in the company, but we lost money for 4 years, right? So it was really hard at the beginning. And then I think if I had to name the single biggest obstacle I faced at the beginning was that I didn't know actually how to build a product as people that actually do it do. So my problem was that I developed the app, and then I shared it with my friends, my deaf friends, a few deaf friends, and that was it. And the app actually started growing huge when I understood that I had to actually turn around, ask them what I had to do, and then develop it, then code it. I know it sounds absolutely obvious, but it's not that obvious when you're starting. You I have this great idea, I'm just gonna code it, right? And you just spend hours and hours coding something that probably won't work. So that's why today, Asteroid, the company, we work with an advisory board of disabled people that test our app, and they give us feedback as we are developing it. I think that is the biggest difference that Hablalo has with other products or other apps, that it's actually built by people with disabilities.
Yeah, that's very important, right? We always talk about customer centricity. It's very important to understand what your customer needs so that you can bring a real solution. So definitely.
That's it.
And how do you think having a very powerful team, because of course you had to build a strong team to move Hablalo to where it is currently. How do you feel, about having a very strong team? Do you think that's something that's important when you are building a project like this, or not?
No, sure. It surely is. Everything depends on team, right? I always say this: we are 16 in the company, and the actual people that are responsible for the success of Hablalo are them, not me. Of course, I am responsible too, but I mean, the true heroes in the story are the people that work in the company. I'm the guy with the idea and the guy that leads the project, but they actually do the work every day. And that is the single most important thing when building anything is team. It's the single most important thing, because you can, like, when you start and you have this like entrepreneurship personality, you do think that you're able to handle anything. And one of the, as I was saying, you have struggles that are more material and more emotional struggles. One of the biggest emotional struggles is that when you realize that you know nothing about anything. Like, you have no idea. And no one has no idea of almost anything, right? So it's when you realize that, you understand that you need people to help you. And if you are having like entrepreneurship personality, you always try to solve things by yourself because you think that you're going to do it better, right? So once you get past that and you start building a team, is when you understand the power of a group, right? Of unity, of developing things fast, of community, of building a community, a culture, right? Which is hard, but it's actually the most important thing. I think culture and team are way more important than revenue in any company, mostly at the beginning. Because if you don't have a solid team, you have, I don't know, people quitting, and you have you hire lots of people every month. You don't control culture. You just hire someone and say, hey, okay, let just do your thing. You don't do like more like, you don't prepare career plans. You don't prepare team building activities. If you don't do all of that, you're not getting anywhere, right? And for me, the process that I always used is that, and the idea I always have in mind when I interview someone and I integrate someone into the team, I always think anyone can learn anything, right? So of course there are certain people with certain skill sets, but everyone learns all the time. So if you build kind of education or formation plans for everyone, anyone can become senior, a director, or a C-level in certain time, right? So they can learn anything. The most important thing for me is that actually measuring if a person is committed to the objective, right?
Yeah.
So when I have to hire, I don't know, a salesperson, for example, if I have a really great salesman, but that doesn't care at all about inclusion, and I have a medium salesman, but is absolutely committed to inclusion, I'm going to hire that one because he can get better selling. But if you just don't care about inclusion, it's not highly likely that you're going to care, regarding of what I tell you, right?
Exactly.
So I try to see people that are actually committed to the company's goal, and that's how I choose people, and it's giving great results for now.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, having a very powerful and strong team is very important, also with different skill sets within the team, because I mean it's what makes the project work, right? At the end of the day, I guess that was one of the pro learnings that you had when building Hablalo. I want to hear a few more learnings that you've had when building an entrepreneurship. If you can share them with the audience today.
Well, there's lots of them. I always say that, like, when you are building a company, you grow old like dog years, like 7 years every year, because you actually have to learn so much. It's really difficult. That's why I always try to tell people that are starting that, like, never trust this idea of this or this kind of marketing thing that entrepreneurship is a really awesome thing. Everyone's happy and we all make lots of money and just ride yachts and go into fancy holidays. That's not a thing. Like, yeah, there's people that do that, of course, but most people building a company are literally, I don't know, me today, for example, it's 4 p.m. here in Argentina. I've been sitting in the same chair for the past 10 hours. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I stopped and grabbed something to eat. And I'm still here. I still have to be here like for 4 more hours or 5. So that's actually building a company. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. But what's the thing? Because if I tell you this like only like that, you want to think, okay, this is torture. I will never do something like that. But it's not actually, because there's an inflection point I think every person building a company has or goes through at some point. That is when you realize that the important thing is the journey and not the goal, right? Because there's no, like, not the ending, the ending of the journey, because there's no ending. Like, if you are actually, because I always try to put it like this: people think of entrepreneurship or being an entrepreneur as building a company. People who build a company, right? And I don't see it like that. I think entrepreneurship is a way of seeing life, right? Of just like different optics. Like, you see life and you find things that you would change, that you would make better, that you can improve, things that are wrong. You just can't settle for things as they are, right? So, and you can't stay quiet. You need to build something and change those things, because you just can't stand things being wrong, right? And you also fall in love with problems, not with solutions, right? That's another great thing when you're building product. You never fall in love with the solution. You fall in love with the problem, and you need to solve the problem, regardless of with the solution you solve it with, right? But in those terms, when I actually realized that, hey, like, every day is like just one more step to a ladder that never ends. Because if you have that personality, it's a bit rough, but it ends when you die. it just, you will never stop doing it, because if your company fails and you just it goes bankrupt, you're probably building another one. Like, if you have this personality, or building another kind of project, or going to work for another company, but being an entrepreneurship personality inside another company, right? Or as a teacher, or like reinforcing that personality, you're probably gonna keep being like that. But it's a really big struggle when you start and you think that there's an ending point. Like, okay, I'm gonna get to, I don't know, my series A, and that's gonna be it. Sure, I'm gonna feel so done when I do this. You're not feeling anything. You're probably just going, okay, damn, I have lots of things to do. Like, I have way more things to do, and now I need a series B, right? And so you're just struggling to get to the next point. So one of the biggest learnings is that you have to do a bit every single day, and eventually you're going to achieve your goals, right? And like, you have to set big goals, but like, the key to entrepreneurship is to set big, far away goals, but be able to break them down in small parts or objectives, and fulfill every single one of them every day. And one day you are going to be at that goal, right? Learnings, I don't know, there are millions. You have to, yeah.
No, I was gonna say that I don't know if you remember when we were, in Lisbon, with this talk that we had of this ex football player, who said that entrepreneurship at the end of the day means having first passion and then have purpose, because having purpose to change something, to do something, will help you keep working to achieve the goals you propose to yourself. And yeah, it's related a little bit to what you are mentioning right now.
Exactly. And then I think the biggest learning is that you need to be open for learning all the time. Like, the biggest learning is you need to learn. That's no matter what. Like, if you want to be a CEO or co-found a company or build your own project, you have to know lots of stuff that you probably don't know, and that's okay. If you're humble enough and you ask questions, ask for help, enroll in programs like Explore, for example, or go to talks and hear other people, listen to other people, listen to how they screwed up and how you can do that better, or what they did wrong, what they did well. Okay, copy that and avoid that one, and try to build from the shoulders of giants, right? From shoulders of others that have already done the path. Like, don't work double. Like, try to learn from other people, listen more than you talk, study all the time, read things. When you have a free time, try to read, learn more stuff. Like, it doesn't matter if it's directly related to your company or not. You have to keep your brain flowing all the time. And if you are that, like, the biggest main learning, and I think that's the key one, if you are strong enough and you're patient enough, like, you are able to swallow the hard moments, really like keep up when things go wrong, when everything turns gray, and keep working and be constant, you're gonna achieve your, like, it's impossible that you don't achieve your goals. If you do it all day, every single day for years, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way, like, being constant.
Yeah, no, and right now, I mean, with the explorers, they are in this process of validating their ideas. They are still, you know, in the process of understanding if the solution they are, or the problem they are tackling, or the solution they're bringing makes sense. But definitely all the learnings that you just provided, please, guys who are listening today, trust Mateo. I think he already has demonstrated that he knows what he's talking about. And before we open to questions from the audience, which, if you are on Twitch, guys, you can ask the questions through the chat. I want to make you the last question, Mateo. As you know, the Explorers have the Explorer Pitch Weekend in a few weeks. Actually, it was gonna be, if I'm not wrong, in the final of the World Cup, and I think it had to be moved.
Of course.
it was a tough decision, but so I would like to ask you if you could give the Explorers a few tips, because it's gonna be the first time when they're going to pitch. It's gonna be their first pitch, official pitch. So could you give them a few tips on how to prepare for that?
Ooh, okay, that's nice. Yeah. Tips. Okay. Well, there's a few I can think of. But I think let's try to grab main ones. First of all, chill. Like, that's like the biggest main thing. The worst thing that you can see when you are actually saying a pitch, like other people's pitch, is someone that's really, really, really nervous and just can't get through slides and just can't get the message through, right? But why does that happen? Like, it's okay to be nervous, right? But chill, because the same thing as I was saying with the entrepreneurship career applies to this. Like, this is your first pitch. You're going to probably do 1,000 minimum, maybe 5,000, 10,000. I have no idea how many I've done. Like, I do like 3 every day, or 4. I don't know, like all the time, every single day. So just think of this as a learning opportunity. Like, do it the best way you can and hear feedback. Don't be angry if you forget a word, or you like can't get the message through, or people don't like your pitch. It doesn't matter. Just listen to feedback, hear, and write it down and change it for the next one, right? And then lots of things for probably the team Explorer has already told you lots of this, but focus on how you make people feel, right? So focus on emotions of the audience, not on, of course, you have to show numbers, you have to show business model, but focus on moving people. People are going to remember you because of what you made them feel, right? Of how they felt when they listened to your pitch. So if you make them feel in a particular way, they're going to remember you, and you have more chances of winning any investments or anything, right? You will always have more chances if you make them feel somehow, right? Some way, I mean. Then use examples, like use people as examples, use their personas as they're called, right? So don't like hypothetically tell your story or your solution, just name, like use real people that people can relate to, the audience can relate to. Don't use text, like avoid that thing, like avoid text. We don't want any text. We want as little text as possible in pitches. Like everything has to, and please don't read also, like just, and don't memorize. Like try to put some bullets in every slide, time them in your head, and just make it look fluid. Maybe if you memorize it, like no one wants a pitch that where you look that you're just repeating something that you memorized. Like try to make it fluid, right? Be confident. I know it sounds obvious, but just stand in the stage, be proud of yourself. Like speak with a loud voice. Don't go like with a really quiet voice and really like close down and everything, because like your body language is really, really, really important. And then tell your story. Tell your story on why you are committed to the problem. Because in every single pitch, people invest in people. Your solution may not be perfect. It's not, discard that. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect. My solution is far from perfect at 7 years old. So there's no way that your solution is perfect, right? But people are gonna see you pitching and go like, okay, I don't really like their solution, or maybe that could be better, but those guys are incredible. So I want those guys on my team, or I invest in those guys. I do believe that these guys are going somewhere, right, with this idea. So make people fall in love with the problem you have fallen in love, okay? And then enjoy it, like just enjoy it. Because this is something that I would have told myself if I could go back in time. I would tell my younger self, just enjoy it. Like you're gonna do well. You're eventually gonna do well. It's your first pitch. Like try to think on the first time you try to walk, the first time you try to swim, the first time you try to ride a bike. You probably just were lame at it, as everyone is, literally everyone. So 99% of people just, the first pitch, it's awful. That's how it is. Like don't worry, just try to learn from it and make a better pitch next time. That's the whole process. It's an endurance process, an endurance race. It's not who gets to the point faster, it's who actually gets to the point, right? So that's what I keep in mind when I do pitches or something like that.
Great tips that you gave them. I hope they do it amazing in the first pitch. Now I'm pretty sure they will.
They will.
Great.
They
but
will.
Definitely, as Mateo is saying, it's your first pitch. There's gonna be so many. If you are an entrepreneur, believe us, you will pitch many, many times, and you will
pitch many times. But you're probably going to do great for juries and everything. But if you are like an entrepreneurship personality, you're going to feel that this wasn't. I'm not really like. You're going to criticize yourself. And
you're never happy. You're never happy.
You will never be happy with your pitch. You always find something that's wrong. People are going to like it. Yeah, trust yourself. If you trust yourself, people are going to trust you. If you don't trust yourself, no one's going to trust you. That's the only thing there is.
And you have to catch the attention with the tips
that
Mateo brought. You will definitely have to practice many times, but if the time you catch the attention of the person who's watching you, then you are doing a great pitch.
That's it.
All right. So we have actually many questions from the audience. They've been interacting. I hope that Spain scores a goal or something. You'd let me know, because I didn't notice. But Mateo, we have a few questions from the people who are connected. Let's start with I will try to say the names properly. We have a question from Arion Pimenta that's saying, what kind of and how did you, what type of need of support did you need when, developing your project?
Okay.
And how did you find it?
Sure. Well, I needed lots of support that I didn't get. So, and other bunch of support that I did get. In my particular case, of course, I needed money. I never got that, so I had to improvise. And then I needed, well, quite a lot of things. Of course, I needed technical support. So I started including people that were able to build actually great products, technically speaking. I needed medical professionals and disabled people to actually tell me how to proceed or how to build a product for disabled people and make it as best as possible. I needed, but most importantly, as I was saying before, the most important part is emotional support, like people, your family, your friends, like people that actually support you on your journey. Those are the people that's the support you want, right? Because you can get money, you can get developers, you can get I don't know, and you can get advisors, you can get etc. But you try to surround yourself with people that understand the struggle and understand that you're gonna work 16-hour days and you're gonna sleep 3 hours and you're gonna work 7 days a week and blah blah, and they're okay with it and they're gonna support you when you need that support. That's I think the biggest thing for anyone, because it's a really like lonely journey sometimes. Like you when you start like deviating from the standard path somehow, and like your people, your friends from high school, they don't understand it, they don't get it. So like you start like feeling alone kind of. So you really need people to support you in those moments to be able to succeed, because if you don't have that, that is a huge problem. If at the beginning the founder is the heart and brain of the company, so if you're not in a good moment, in a good mood, in a good shape, in every single aspect, your company is not gonna perform probably.
And actually, that's one of the, I would say, right? I'm going to bring here my 2 cents. I think SantanderX ecosystem tries to promote that, right? That you as an entrepreneur are not alone. You have a big community of other entrepreneurs who are in the same situation as you are. And together, you keep growing. I think you experienced that, for instance, when we were in Lisbon, but we also experienced that with the Explorer trip, where we had so many entrepreneurs trying, to connect with each other. Which was amazing. And I think building this type of community of people that are in, let's say, in the same space helps a lot.
Yeah, I said it a few times in Lisbon and in Oporto. Actually, like I would have wished I had a community like this when I was studying, right? So yeah, you can get a lot of this community, and mostly of how global it is, right? So as people from everywhere, so really enriched.
We have so many questions, Mateo. I'm gonna pick a few more, but there's many questions and very interesting questions. I will ask you a question from wow, this name, sorry, I'm not gonna pronounce, but there's someone in the audience who's asking, do you think it's good to have a big and complete team from the beginning, or maybe it's better to start alone and then search for a team?
That is actually a great question. I do believe that at the beginning, you should not build a huge team like from scratch for a few reasons. Mainly because at the beginning, if you do have your money and your capital, that's another story. But assuming that you're just starting as everyone else with no money, looking for funding and etc. If you start adding people to the team without paying them, all those people are going to want to be partners of the company, right? Which is cool, of course, right? Sounds okay, but you can't have 10 partners in your company, right? Like, just don't. So I think it's more strategic to start not on your own. Of course, at the beginning on your own, try to build a business plan, try to study what you try to do, how you're going to do it, etc. But then start adding a few people, like by trying to find your partners, people that you would partner with, you will share your cap table, your stocks, your company with, right? Strategic people. And then from there, start trying to gain revenue, gain money to invest in some people that can, of course, then you have, if you don't have that capital, you can offer vesting agreements. Okay, so people that, what's a vesting agreement? So people that are working, maybe not earning what they would, but they have a compensation in stocks of the company that they can claim if they work for X amount of years in your company, right? So then you tell them, okay, you can come work for the company, and you can have a 2% of the company in the next 3 years if you're still working with us. And so if the company succeeds and it's a unicorn, you're gonna have a 2%, and etc. Well, you can have you can find lots of mechanisms for that. But I would start with a conservative, with a small team, mostly because when you're starting, you have no idea who you have to hire. Like the demand, the product, the project itself, its demand shows you who you need to hire. So what we are seeing, of course, it's related to economical problems and stuff, but lots of struggling from technological companies that overhired and now have to fire people in Argentina, United States, lots of places. So just don't hire, if you, I know you have an investment, don't hire people just because. Like, try to think who you need and be strategic. Maybe pay more for a senior profile instead of paying to 3 different people to do the same job. Like, try to be really strategic and careful. And mostly, because of what I was saying before, take care of the culture. Don't just like add people to just the first people that comes through, get into the team and get a salary. That's not strategic.
I was going to add that point that you mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, that if you have to take care of the culture, of the purpose of the people, and you, when they join the company, right? Yeah, this is exactly what we discussed. I have a couple more questions that I would like to make. I think they are very interesting. One of them is, how did you adapt your business model, and why do you think it is currently sustainable?
Sorry, I lost a few seconds of that. Can you?
Yeah. We have a person in the audience that's asking, how did you, build your business model, adapt your business model? Did you pivot it? How did you build it? And why do you think it is currently sustainable?
Okay, got it. That's a great question, because that was one of the biggest struggles. Building the business model was really hard, because Hablalo is an absolutely free product, so we don't charge anything for our app, which is kind of weird, or not your typical software business model, because we don't charge for the product. We don't have premium models. We don't have ads. We don't charge directly for the app at all. My idea of the business model when I started, that no one trusted it, me and my partners, or only 3 of us, was that, look at it like this. If you have, like what we're doing with Hablalo is putting in the pockets of disabled people a product that helps adapt them to society, right? But that's, philosophically speaking, wrong. What you should do is you should adapt society to these people, right? So if you have a store, right, and you don't ask a guy in a wheelchair to bring a ramp, right? You install a ramp. So why would you expect a deaf or a person with cerebral palsy or etc. person to grab his or her phone and go to your store and teach you how to use Háblalo for you to be able to charge them? So it's kind of weird. So what I thought one day was, okay, we don't need to charge people, we need to charge companies and governments that actually want to build bridges with these communities, right? And actually show them that including is not a spending or a cost, it's an investment. And if you invest in inclusion, you're able to get to more clients, be different from the competition, make cultural impact, reputational impact. You can make impact your employer brand. You can gain from lots of areas by actually doing good, right? So we're not asking companies for philanthropy, right? For just to give away money just because. We built a business model that's called Háblalo for Business that actually helps companies and governments build bridges with these disabled communities. So we install a tailor-made version of a product in tablets or QR codes in their stores, and we allowed all those stores and places to become actually inclusive to disabled communities. And those companies and governments pay usage fee every month, right? And that's how we generate revenue. And yeah, it sounds perfect now. That took us 4 years to make money from, because it was really hard. We had to actually do a great job explaining companies why we should invest in this and that. It was really, really hard. And for example, you in Europe, you're more likely to invest in inclusion. There are more funds, and in general, Europe is more tends to invest in inclusion more than other regions. In Latin America, it's different. So it was really, really hard to get things going. But we were able to, and yeah, the model is growing mostly, and I have to say this, of course, thanks to our biggest client, that is the Santander Bank. Sure, we're working with in Argentina. So yeah.
Amazing, Mateo. I mean, as always, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge, your experience with everybody. I think it's always a pleasure to listen to you, to your experience, and always a way of learning. I promise, every time I listen to you, I always learn something different, and I've listened to you a few times already.
Thank you very much, yeah. Thank you. Same here.
So I would like to again thank Mateo. You can definitely follow him, his steps with Háblalo. We definitely will be sharing lots of information about Háblalo. We are always updating the information about the companies that are part of the ecosystem. And for those who, as I said, want to be entrepreneurs like Mateo, you have the Explorer program now open to apply. And for those who are at Explorer who want to keep progressing and who want to keep building the project because they believe in the project they are building, you can join Prepare to Launch, which is the program we have as the next step of Explorer. And we have many more initiatives at SantanderX. So feel free to join the platform, our social channels, and there you see always that we are doing a lot of things with SantanderX 100, with the local awards, with global awards, with many things. So again, thanks to everybody in the audience for attending this session. Thank you, Mateo, again. And yeah, talk to you soon. For those who are doing Explorer, good luck with the pitch day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here.
Okay, how about this? A worldwide network of contacts. A contact network of entrepreneurs with the same concerns, with the freedom you need, with the freedom to design your own life and validate your business idea. For it to be more than an idea, not enough? Well, how about creating the financial independence you want with the help of fellow entrepreneurs? Improve the lives of other people with your project. And if you have a passion, make it your way of life and share it with others. Work how, when, and where you want. Share your ideas. And if you have to stop, stop. But only to take a bigger step forward. Is that clear? To build a contact network, to validate your business idea, to be part of change, to go further, connect with your future, create your business. You explore your future.